Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I haven't posted on here in forever. I'm trying to pick back up on things and just kind of get back into it. I've started up an Instagram page, so I just thought whilst I've got both of them fresh, I might as well just start all over again. If you see us looking here, because it's where the viewfinder is, but let's get started. So I purchased my first few items from Colourpop recently and I just wanted to try them out. So one of them is the primer, which is the Pretty Fresh primer. I've seen a few people saying this is really good, so I'll just give it a go. Sorry, I've got cat hairs up my nose and it's really irritating us. So I just thought try this with my foundation that I use the most, which is the Fenty Original foundation. And we'll see how it goes. I'm going to apply that with a Real Techniques sponge, and I put the primer on with a Real Techniques targeted blending brush, and I've got other things to try afterwards, but we'll go through this first. So Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer, cruelty free as Colourpop generally are. Oh, one pump. I'm going to try 2 pumps to begin with. Oh, I didn't bring a mirror over, that would have helped. I'll just use this for now. I'm just going to put this in with the brush, which is easily spread already. Very thin. I can't place the smell. Yeah, so that, as it's starting to soak in now, I'm just trying to get every single little bit. Yeah, it's really starting to soak in now, so it does feel like a moisturiser. It's not heavy at all. It is a little bit sticky, but it hasn't quite set yet. Yeah, it does leave, like, it doesn't set down completely. It does still have a texture there that I can feel on my skin. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's soaked in a lot. Okay, and we'll try my Fenty foundation. I have got it in the colour 140, and this is the Pro Filt'r Soft Matte foundation, and I generally use 4 pumps of that. And then I have my Real Techniques sponge. Yeah, this will never cover up these spots. Right, so that's gone over fine, which is how I normally get it to. I do have a difference here, so I'm just going to take a couple of pumps on my neck. Always get the end of my nose because it's where my foundation comes off the quickest, is on my nose. Right. That isn't the most coverage, but it's enough for me to be able to tell what the primer is like. Actually, if I put this up and we can see it a bit more. Oh, that's just switching it, sorry. So you can see the texture on my skin anyway. But normally this foundation is very matte. I think that was one of the complaints when it first came out. For anyone who was oily, just could not, who wasn't oily, just could not use it. I am a bit oily, but I do get some dry skin. Actually, the foundation underneath stops it being so matte. Let's get some concealer. Right, so I've got 3. I mainly use 4. I have the Nars Soft Matte Concealer as well, but I use that to like cover bits I have. I've got like a really bad spot, but I just kind of want to just show it today how the primer and foundation will actually work together to combat that. My 3 that I go through, I'll apply them as I go. So this is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer in Fair. And I use this in areas I don't want to highlight like at all. So I'll get around the redness on my nose. And then any blemishes, like I say, I don't want to use a lighter concealer on them and just highlight them. And I do get psoriasis around my hairline quite a bit. You can see kind of like a patch of it in there. And so I do try to cover that as well. Next one is the Revolution Conceal and Define. I think everyone's used this at one point. I just happened to get the super size one a while back. And so I'm just kind of making my way through it. I put this under my eyes. A little bit in there. I don't do the big triangle because my eyes are quite dry. The skin around there is quite dry, and so I don't like to overload it with too much product. And then lastly, I've got the L'Oreal Infallible More Than Concealer. And this is for highlighting because I got a shade that was way too light for me. So I let all of that sit. I don't immediately blend it in. So now I'll go first with the areas that are highlighted because I don't really want coverage there. It's just a little bit of a dimension. And also with under my eyes, I don't really move the sponge around too much where I've put the concealer. I try to just focus it exactly where I've put it and just push it into the skin rather than trying to blend it out. So at this point my skin would be more matte. You can see it's still got quite a bit of a shine to it. If I turn this back up, yeah, it's definitely got a bit of a shine to it, which is fine. And then I will go in with two powders. So I've got here a Morphe 438, which is just like a tulipy brush. So I just get my FitMe. Oh god, it's practically empty. And I literally just set that area. So I've got the Fenty Pro Filt'r loose powder in butter. I get a good amount on there, but not like really excessive amounts. So I just dipped again there in with the powder, and I brush any excess straight off, which I'll just use this Morphe B39. It's just a big fluffy brush. I think it's actually meant to be a foundation brush. I think someone must use it as a foundation brush at some point for me to buy it. And I will just lightly tap. I'm just taking what was in the lid, which wasn't very much. Because this area of my skin, although much of my skin is oily, this area is completely normal. That to one side, go back to the tulip brush, and again, I just buff off any excess. So this is literally my skin completely mattified, but compared to normal, there is still like a slight sheen in areas. So I feel as though the primer does help with that. Okay, so now I am going to try another Colourpop, which is all at Forest Sight, which was the Raw Beauty Christie palette. Let's see if I can get it in there. I don't know if it's got a little bit blurry there. So I put a eyeshadow base on, which is the Revolution Ultimate Eye Base. Just tap that back out. Now one of my colours that I never use is green, and so I want to try and use these two greens just to be a little bit out of my comfort zone. And I'm going to start in the crease, I think, with the colour Fiddlehead, which I think all of these were types of mushroom or something like that. So I'm going to... there's quite a bit of kickback, which I think she did mention was a bit like her Pure palette that she did. And it's just because of the pigments and stuff that's in it. So I'm gonna just get this through. And that has blended out quite sheer, so I'm just gonna take a little bit more. Which is a Morphe 521, which is a big brush. I feel like it's gone a bit patchy. Yeah, it's definitely gone patchy there. It doesn't look as bad in person. It's coming out so much more green on the camera than what it actually is. Like in person, it's green, but it's really faded, and it's also really blended. So I'm going to try and do a halo eye. So I'm going to go in with, yeah, I think I'll go in with this with a Morphe 456 and the colour Emerald City, which is literally emerald. That. And I just want to soften that. I'm just going to do the inner corner. Get that to blend into there slightly. And I get my Morphe M521, which is a big clean blending brush. Well, not so clean anymore. And I'm just going to take another blending brush and take the Morphe JS6. And I'm going to use that just to blend that top even more. To really make sure that those bits are the darkest. Okay, I've got them away, and I'm going to use the colour Evergreen, which is a shimmer. And I'm going to put that through the middle. Just with my finger. We'll blend those edges once I've got it on both sides. So I'm just going to blend those edges. And this is where it starts to look a little bit less crazy. Then I'm going to use West Coast, which is the big gold one. Just through the very centre. Now from that, I find that, no, actually they are working quite well. I think a bit like my other Colourpop eyeshadow, I don't think the base that I use is the best. I mean, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Yeah, it's a bit more true to what it actually looks like now. Just think Colourpop shadows are very easy to blend out. You can over blend them very easily. And it's very hard to then put the pigment back in to the work that you're trying to do. They're not bad. They're better than a lot of eyeshadows that I have. Cough, cough. But for the price of the palette, absolutely worth it. For $20, I think it was $20, it was worth it. The only thing I absolutely begrudge with Colourpop is the shipping fees. I literally paid the same as what this cost in shipping fees. This was $20, and the shipping was $18 something, which I just can't justify. Right, let me finish up with the eye, because that was just to let you know kind of how I'm feeling about it. And then I'll come back once I've got everything done. Okay, so I've finished my eyes. I'm just kind of tidying up now. Done my eyes, I'm still waiting for the glue to dry. Okay, the foundation is sitting really nicely on top of the primer. I've never really used primers before. I've used like a spray quickly before I've started my makeup. Haven't used a spray yet. I might do that at the end. But I don't really have any creasing. It is still coming off my nose. Got Nars Laguna in the matte one. I had this like years ago and I loved it, and I just got it again at Christmas. Fuck. And I literally use it as bronzer. I don't use it as a contour. And I kind of realised how orange it is. Highlight, which I'm just going to use the Loreal Gilded Honey. A little bit of this. I really don't use much highlight anymore these days. And I'm going to take my little pink with the same highlighter. Just get it in there. Yeah, okay. The last, I don't use lip liners. Liquid lipstick is the KVD Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in Ludwig. And that's where it's close to even as what my lips will go. And then last is the Luxe Gloss from Colourpop with Robbie Christie. And this is called Glacier. I might not be able to say that. Actually, because the applicator is white, I want to take it on the back of my hand because I do not want to smother that with lipstick. Oh, that smells like, it smells like a freshly opened tube of Smarties. Okay, I just like the smell. I just want the smell. But I don't feel as though I need it, so I'm going to use the Morphe Luminous setting spray. I'm literally just going to do that. Round up the primer, which I've put away, has not gone in my drawer, which is always a good sign. It's gone on my desk, so absolutely do like that. It has stopped foundation sinking into places, so obviously the hydrating effect does work. It stopped around my eyes looking so dry, which is great. That's exactly what I aim for these days, just to stop it looking dry, because that was my main concern at the moment. Is I'm getting old. Little 27-year-old me is getting old. Just going to clamp these lashes down as I talk. The palette I'm going to play with a bit more once I got what I wanted down, blended, and then reapplied. I started to get the hang of it. I think just because Colourpop shadows I've never worked with before. I've got one of that palette, which was the Gather Round Sisters from the Hocus Pocus Halloween collection. I did struggle with that the first couple of times I used it, and then once I got used to the colours and how I know I can use them, they were fine. So yes, the primer, absolute love that. Eyeshadow, I think once I've played with it more and I'm able to do a bit more with it, and I've had a bit more time, I will enjoy that like I do with the Gather Round Sisters one. This gloss, love the smell. I'm not normally a gloss person. This is why I don't like gloss. But it is nice. I did use a little bit and it is nice. I think if I sat with a lip liner, it probably wouldn't bleed so much. I didn't do brows. Right, so to conclude, loving Colourpop at the moment. That's about it. I am liking it. I will continue to do more things. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to see, if there's any new collections. I am planning on getting the Jaclyn Hill Valentine's collection when that comes out. If I do manage to get it, I will do a video on it. But that's fine. Subscribe down below, like, comment. I also have an Instagram that'll pop down below. And I'll also put all of the products that I've used down below just in case you're interested. But apart from that, see you in the next video.